Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, before we get started, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm doing okay. How was you guys this weekend? Mine was great. I was finally able to see Jada's home. No, it's only been almost a year. Her daddy been there about 3 or 4 times. This was my first time going. I was able to sneak a quick getaway in, few days in Vegas, and I had a great time. Val and Simone, my friends, came in for a day and spent the day with me. We got there Friday. They left on Saturday. I left yesterday, and I am back. I'm tired. Child, why is Vegas so much? In Vegas, if you fooling with that strip or downtown or any of the attractions or the entertainment or the gambling or the eating or if you doing any of that, baby, it feels like 4 days feels like 4 weeks. Like you are doing everything in them 4 days. I am exhausted, but I was on time to work today, bitch. It was nice to see, you know, Jada in this like grown, like she's grown now. You know, Jada still has like her baby voice and the way she I still think of Jada as a baby, even though she gonna be 24. So like this was like truly my first time, even though she's had her own place when she was in school. Now she's not in school. She's totally grown. She lives in a totally different state. You know, she is thriving, doing well, her and her best friend. And I just was like, oh, I'm so proud. Like everybody's just grown up and did okay. Vegas is still Vegas. They love it out there, but that is definitely not for Roxanne. But you know, a visit here and there will be just fine. How are you guys? How was your weekend? Did you guys thaw out? Did you guys get put out? You know, because we got fires and then we got snows. So if you are being affected by any of those things, I hope you guys was able to get some reprieve. It looks like the weather is starting to change up a little bit, warm up a little bit, and I know in LA they got rain, so and that's very much needed. I mean, it's needed even when they don't have fires, but definitely now. So yeah, that's what's going on there, you guys. I just thought I'd share what I did this past weekend. Y'all let me know what y'all did. Okay. All right, you guys, so let's get to the first story here. Starting with politics, because I feel like that's just where I need to start. You know, I've been getting on camera for the last few weeks and I've been telling you guys like how I just don't care. I have checked out. I'm not going to be watching and getting involved in any of that stuff. And what I'll say about that is it is very easy to say that you don't care about something when 1, it doesn't affect you. 2, you don't really have to see the images of what is going on. 3, is one thing to say you're going to do something, but when it starts to happen, you know, it is difficult to really be that callous to say you don't care. Obviously, I do care. Okay, I am a human being, and I hate to see bad things happening to people who don't deserve it or innocent in the whole thing. I mean, I am human. So of course, when we talk about what's been going on this week with immigration and ICE and them going and doing these raids and, you know, sweeping up people and sending them back to home, wherever home might be, you know, I'm not so terrible a person where I would say that I don't care, especially when you see the images happening on TV. I do care, okay? But what I know is that there's nothing that I can do about it. I also know that many people who are being affected by this are also those same people who voted for YSAP, or their family members who, in my opinion, are representation for them. If they couldn't vote, you would think that their family members would have looked out for their best interests. I know some of you guys are like, I'm so tired of hearing about best interests, but it works in this case. You know, if the family members didn't see that it was that important to make sure that their loved ones who might be here illegally, who might still be trying to get citizen status, who might be going through the process and everything, if they didn't see it to be protective of those people, then there's really, what am I supposed to do about that? You know? Have any of you guys ever had a conversation with somebody that comes from like a third world or extreme poverty country? Have you ever had a conversation with these people when you talk to, because even though they would like you to think that many of these people are criminals and, you know, they're over here and they're murdering and they're raping and they're pillaging, and, you know, even though they would like you to think that all of these immigrants that come over here are doing these things, the majority of these people that come are trying to come for a better life. The majority of these people that come, when they come from something like that, come here so that they can make money to send home to their family who don't have any, who have no access to some of the finer things that happens here in the United States. So when you have a conversation with some of these people, I remember the guy who did our kitchen, he was telling us a story about how he came over here to the United States and he was tied to a top of a train. Okay, and that they had to make sure that they didn't fall asleep so they wouldn't fall. And, you know, I had read about that years ago, and it just seemed like such a way out story. Even though I believed the story, I didn't feel like it was as normal as I did when I spoke with, you know, the guy that did our kitchen, and he was just telling us about all these things and, you know, what the opportunities have been since he's been here and how he helps his family, and, you know. And so when you really have like contact with people where you know good people, these are good people that are just trying to make a living, that are just trying to take care of their family just like everybody else. You know, when you start hearing those stories, then it's hard to just watch what's happening right now and not feel some kind of way. Okay, it does make me sad, but there's nothing really I can do about it. Nothing that can be done because YSAP made that very apparent. I mean, he made it clear it was all about immigration. It was all about immigration. It was that way with his first term, and here it is again with his second term. And so I just felt like we knew it was coming. And it's just, it's too bad. You know, some of these people have been here for years and years and years and years and years, and they don't even know the places that they're getting sent back to. Some have been here since they were kids. I mean, you know, it's just, it's awful. It's awful, but I still will maintain that I am not going to get myself involved any more than I need to. I read the stories. I will report the stories to you guys. But I you know, other than that, that's just it. It's just it. And we have to see it play out on the news and on the blogs and, you know, in the newspapers. And, you know, if you still read newspapers, you know, we have to see all these things. And it's just honestly too bad. But none of it is a surprise because they laid out exactly what they needed to do. But yeah, I mean, I can say that I don't care, but of course I don't like to see these things happen to these people. Yes, you can send the criminals. I think they said a lot of the people that they were focusing on in Miami anyway were the ones that had like ankle bracelets, and they were starting with them. But other people were getting caught up in it as well. And that's the scary part, you know. It's just like, are y'all gonna be sending back people that's over here really legally here? You know, it's like some gray areas. I have a feeling that ICE is probably not going to be that real patient when you be trying to explain to them that you are a citizen, or you do have papers, or you do, you know, you are here by permission. And, you know, when you start trying to tell them that, you know, because of all of the chaos of just sweeping and getting these people, there goes the police siren. But what I was saying was, I don't even remember what I was saying. So anyway, y'all, and yes, I do know many people that are here illegally. Okay. There are some people that I suspect might be here illegally, and I don't want to see them have to go back. I don't want to see them have to go back, but I tried and we tried. Okay, so that's really pretty much all it is. So you guys have seen that YSAP they've been loading people. Now, the good thing about me being in Vegas this weekend is that I was able to, I didn't look at any news. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I didn't really even look at my Instagram. I didn't post anything. I just was trying to enjoy my few days away. So I didn't know that all this was happening until I got back, and I was like, okay, let me look. I knew that ICE was out there and they were doing the sweeps, but I hadn't been watching, and I didn't see any of the images and how troublesome and all of that they were. But now that I'm back and I see, yeah, it's terrible. Colombia. You guys saw that YSAP had sent a plane of people to Colombia and was asking to land the plane so that people can get off there, and Colombia would not grant them the space. They were just like, no, you cannot land here. Y'all turn it on back around, because the president, what's his name? Was it Nunez? No, Gustavo Petro. Mr. Petro said, Senor Petro said that, listen, the Colombians, we don't do shit all half-assed and, the way y'all trying to do shit around there, okay? We as a dignified people, people that you sending over here, they not criminals. So we're not going to treat them as criminals. We're not going to make them just come over here and just be all unorganized. No, we're not doing that, so no. So when YSAP found out that the Colombian president would not let them land and come there, so then YSAP got upset, and he loves to throw his weight around. So he was just like, okay, well, if you guys not going to take them back, then all these tariffs, all these sanctions, all of these things that's going to cost Colombia to have to deal with the United States and all that, he means business. So if you're not going to do what the man say, then he is going to charge you. He is going to charge you up the ass. He is going to do all these things to make it very difficult for you and your country. So after that happened, that is when the president said, listen, like I said, we not criminals and we ain't treating them as criminals. I will personally send my presidential plane over there. You can put all the Colombians on there, instead of some cargo ass plane that y'all might have borrowed from UPS and decided to bring it on over here to Colombia. If you want to send these people home, they're welcome anytime. Let me send my plane. Okay. So I guess that's what they're working on right now. I'm not sure if the fact that the Colombian president has decided to, work with this U.S. government, if that is going to keep the sanctions and shit from happening. We'll just have to wait and see. That's what's happening. Colombia is just an example of what's more to come. I'm sure there's going to be many places that are just like, what, how y'all just sending these people here? What we supposed to do? Like, did you guys set up what's supposed to happen? I don't even know. Are they just dropping the people off at the embassy? Or, dropping them off and just being like, okay, goodbye? Like, I don't know. But I'm not even going to really involve myself too much in trying to figure out what's happening there. I'm just going to watch just like y'all, and I'm going to just be like, that is too bad. That is honestly too bad, because it is. But what can you say? Y'all, the people done voted for him, child. The people done voted for him. So that's it. That's it on that, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think about it, though. Have you been seeing it? I saw one guy that was talking about his wife. So ICE went to this one house in Miami, and there was two guys there, I think, that they were going for, and there was another woman there as well. I don't think that she was on their list, so to speak, when they went in the house, but she was there, and she wasn't a citizen, so they snatched her on up as well. This man is about to marry this woman. They got a wedding coming up. He was like, she was actually in the middle of getting her citizenship. I don't know how true that is. You know how people are. But he was just like, she was in the middle of getting her citizenship. She wasn't quite finished with the process. They took her. He's trying to wheel and deal with YSAP. Like, come on, can we work something out? Please send my fiance back. And yeah, there are going to be plenty of them kind of stories. Hundreds of those kind of stories. Thousands of those kind of stories. As you start breaking up people, breaking up families, you know, breaking up homes, sending people back, all that. So, and then I saw another woman. This actually wasn't somebody that was getting deported, but there was a woman that I think had gone home and was coming back here. And I think she had some sort of something to let her come back over, but they would not let her cross the line. So she was stuck over there and she was crying and she was, you know, and all that. And I just was like, yeah, this is really bad. This is bad. I can't morally watch that and say that I don't care, but it is, all you can really do is just shake your head and just be like, oh, well, we knew it, child. Y'all just didn't know, but we knew. Yeah, child. Anyway, we gonna keep our eye on it. We gonna see it every day. And as the story continues on, I'll continue to report on it. All right. Let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, with all the shit that's going on in the world, and I'm gonna tell you, 2025, it sure don't feel like it's gonna, it don't feel like it's gonna be the best, child. That shit started off with it just started off crazy. But maybe instead of it starting off good and then getting bad, maybe it'll start off bad and then it'll get good. Maybe it'll work out that way. But anyway, you guys, with everything that's going on, the election and, you know, YSAP now in office and all that, you know, we done almost all but then forgot about Puffy and hell, I guess even Jay-Z, if that was the case. Like, we don't really even talk about it anymore. I mean, we all remember it, but it's just so much other shit now. Back to Puffy. It's a couple of things. First, we saw that Puffy has decided to file a $50 million? Hold on. Puffy said he gonna file a $50 million defamation lawsuit against the guy and his lawyer that are saying that they have the manuscript of the biography life story that Kim Porter supposedly was writing. Puffy and all them said that there never was one, but there was always whispers of one. Even Al B. Sure said there was one, even though Al B. Sure did say that he did not believe that that was the one that she wrote. Anyway, that guy's name is Courtney Burgess. His attorney's name is Ariel Mitchell. And this is also, he's also suing Next Star Media Group. He's accusing them of spreading false claims about him for financial gain. Okay? Because we've been seeing them, well, we haven't been seeing them recently, but we saw when that book was being circulated and was being sold on Amazon, and they were saying that it was Kim's words, even when I read it, I was like, no. This woman would not have written this story this way, you know, so I didn't believe it either. But anyway, I do believe that there may have been a biography that she was writing, but I don't think that that was the one. Okay. Or I will say that I would sooner believe that there is one and that they don't have it. Okay. Anyway, so he's suing them. He's saying he don't know them people. The man said something about how he was the son of a godchild that Puffy daddy had or some shit, you know, 7 degrees is fucking, like, nigga, you know how people be struggling to try to figure out the connection between somebody, trying to convince you that they know somebody too. Yeah. He the godson of the father of Puffy, who is not even alive. We ain't never seen the man, knew the man. Child, anyway, Puffy said he don't know this man. He don't know Ariel. He don't know Courtney. And he's suing him. He says the fact that Next Star, the media group, they put all this information out about him without doing their due diligence, without fact checking to make sure that, you know, these stories are correct or true. He just feels like they put it out there and they were trying to damage him. So now he feels like that has caused him to not have his fair trial that he has a right to. Burgess is saying that nope, he got these tapes And he's got this manuscript, and Puffy says there's no manuscript. So now Puffy, I guess, is fighting back in that instance. While we're talking about fighting back, we can talk about D Woods. Okay, you guys remember D Woods was one of the 5 members of Danity Kane. We met her like we met the other ladies when they were on Making the Band. And before D Woods even decided to, what's her real name? Is it Danielle? Don't quote me on that. I'm just thinking. But anyway, we can start questioning whether or not D Woods is lying. All you had to do is remember how he treated them ladies when we were watching the show. I mean, this was on camera. We saw how horrible he was to them and the guys. Like, he was terrible to Danity Kane. He was terrible to, Day 6. He was awful to all of those people when he was trying to make his bands. It's not that unbelievable to believe that Puffy, even if he was not being abusive physically, I could very much see how he would have been verbally and emotionally abusive to them and sexually abusive to them, because we saw it on the show. I know some of you guys might be too young, did not watch Making in the Band, and don't really know how Puffy was, but Puffy was pretty much of a tyrant on that show, and so it's not unbelievable for me. D Woods did an interview with ABC News, and this was right before they were going to release the documentary. So there was a documentary about Puffy last night, came on the ID channel, and I think it was called, I don't know what the name of it. I didn't put the name down. But anyway, the documentary came out last night, but this interview with D Woods, we saw clips of it. And the interviewer was asking her, like, what made her decide to speak up now, especially considering we know that Cassie spoke up quite a while ago, and then Don Richard also spoke up, and then the Lil Rod person, and all these other people has spoken out, and, D Woods had been quiet. And she said, well, she finally felt like this was the time where people would actually consider her story, where people would actually believe what she was saying. And so that's why she chose to do this. The lady was like, aren't you afraid that there's going to be some retaliation? And she said, yeah, absolutely. That's probably why the girl ain't spoke much before then. You guys know that D Woods now, some of the other girls, I mean, they were kind of like verbal. Like, we were hearing stories about how awful Puffy was to them back then. Some of them were a little bit more verbal than others. I feel like D Woods, like, when she got fired, like, we kind of knew that she was having issue with D Woods, and then with Puffy, and then all of a sudden she just shut it down and was quiet. We didn't see her no more. We didn't hear from her or anything. Okay, which is like the name of the game for most of Puffy's artists. Like, when he goes through them artists, like they be so damn traumatized from having to deal with them that they disappear. Okay. We didn't see D Woods for a long time. I remember when she resurfaced was when Candy was bringing her back, at least in the public eye. I mean, I'm sure she's been out there living her life, but we didn't see her resurface until Candy brought her back on her Mother's Love tour. Okay, she was one of the, I don't know, I didn't see the play, but she was, I think her, Portia, and Candy were supposed to be sisters, or they were supposed to be in a group or something. I don't know, child. But that was when we saw D Woods come back, okay? And she's always kind of shied away, kind of talking about what happened with Puffy. It was just sort of like she's just trying to move forward with her life. Now she's telling the story. He was awful to them, treated them like they were a piece of meat. A lot of the things that Don Richard said, she was like, he'll keep you off balance. So he'll praise you and make you feel good about things. And then he'll knock your ass back a couple of steps, when he feel like it. And everything was about your sexual appeal, and again, we saw that on the show, him talking about how much they weigh, what they look like, all of that. That used to be like kind of what they did in Hollywood back in the day. Now they have to be more careful. You can't do that as much now because people will sue and say that you sexually harassed them, or that you were, well, we don't know how this is going to be affected by DEI and all of that. Because even though this is not a diversity, inclusivity, and whatever the other word was, even though this is not per se one of those type of situations, I can still see how they can use DEI and the elimination of that by saying it's not fair to just automatically say that somebody sexually harassed you because they were a man and you were a woman and they did something different or did something the way you did not like it. Like, I can just feel like they can try to figure it out some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, even still today with the Me Too movement, even though that looks like that's getting kind of kicked back a little bit too. But, you know, even with the Me Too movement, you can't just outright be like, I'm not hiring you because you too fucking fat. You need to lose 20 pounds. Don't have no damn baby. You know, why you gonna be in this group because you need to do, you know, like, people can't just outright just say that without the threat of being sued, you know. But anyway, but yeah, you know, D Wood, she was just saying, like, it's more of the same stuff that we've heard the other ladies say. And again, like, I believe Cassie, like I believe Don Richard, I am also believing D Woods. Okay, I believe it. So good for her. She looked good. She looks grown. Okay, she's but we always liked D Woods. Like, she was always the cool girl in that group. Okay, but we had heard those rumors back then. We heard about Puffy messing with Aubrey. You know, we heard about how he used to treat them. We saw when he fired D Woods. We saw all of that. So all very much believable, if you ask me. Did you guys watch the documentary on the ID channel? I had just got back home yesterday evening, so I didn't watch it. I guess I will probably eventually check out the documentary. You guys let me know what you thought about it if you did see it. Okay, and let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, next story up. Akademiks. I don't know Akademiks. I don't watch him. I don't care to watch him or anything. Every time I see him, I just feel like, you know, no, he's not for me, which is fine. Everybody's not for everybody, okay? But I feel like somebody needs to, like, I feel like Akademiks is slowly crashing and burning. Like, I feel like, you know how it is sometimes when you have been, like, you start to blow up and then you start to kind of believe your own hype and then you kind of feel like you untouchable. You kind of just be saying and doing anything, and then shit starts to just feel like it gets out of control, like you done got too big for your britches, and you just be saying and doing shit, and it's just sort of like, no, hold on, like, he need a friend. I feel like somebody needs to get Akademiks, like a friend of his, and be like, man, you kind of tripping a little bit, you wilding out. Every time I see him, he's yelling and screaming. He's always caught up in some drama, and I mean, maybe he likes that, but to me, it's starting to show like some loose marbles a little bit. All that yelling and screaming that he be doing. The newest problem that we've gotten from Akademiks is Meek Mill seems to believe that Akademiks has been grooming young men, young boys on his show, people that call in. And apparently a 15-year-old kid was on the phone and Akademiks was talking to him, and they were talking about sex, and he was asking him if he had had sex with people. I mean, he was just kind of like talking very inappropriate. It's a 15-year-old kid, okay? And it was all about sex, and if he fucked this old lady and fucked this woman. I mean, and it was just sort of like he was going on and on and on. So Meek Mill's opinion was that people needed to cancel Akademiks because he grooms young boys. And that's when Akademiks was having his full rant, screaming and yelling, saying that, you know he do stuff, he need to tighten up his bad. He was just kind of looking at this 15-year-old as an nephew situation, like him being the uncle giving his nephew some advice or talking to, and I was just like, now see, that's right there is the problem, because even though we be saying we family, and you think you know people because they've been watching you for years and years, and they might even call into your show for years and years, and all of this, you still have to remember where you are and what you're doing. Okay, you not his uncle, you don't know this boy. Okay? This boy is 15 years old and you on the fucking airways talking about fucking some lady to this kid, and it's just inappropriate. Like, why is it that you don't know that that's inappropriate? You know? Because I feel like when you start to get caught up in your own, you know, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, when you get caught up in this, oh, I can do and say anything, then that's when shit like this start to fall apart, you know? So he said that he needs to tighten up, but I really feel like somebody that knows him needs to be like, man, you need to pull back on some of the ways that you been, because this shit is not good and it's going to backfire on him eventually. It might still take some time, but I think it will. Child, it's getting hot in this car. So, there's so many podcasts and shows and things, and you know, it's hard to be like, they need to get rid of all these podcasts when I do a damn show like that as well. But it's too many. It's too many podcasts, and there's too many shows where people are giving advice and thinking that, you know, and that people are, and you telling all these people you're not a professional on things. You don't know what the hell you talking about. It's not just your opinion. A lot of people don't just take your opinion as your opinion. Some people take it as fact, you know, and that's some of the problematic things with a lot of these podcasts and a lot of these YouTube shows and a lot of things, you know. It's just, we are just telling our opinion. It's not always fact. It's not always fact. You know, we telling our opinion. We might be flat out wrong about something. And so that's the thing. It can get dangerous, you know, when people have the eye of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and then they irresponsibly use that power and their visibility, you know, incorrectly or whatever. So that's that. I said all that to say is, if any of y'all know Akademiks, maybe y'all could just pull old boy to the side and tell him that he need to chill a little bit, because he be doing too much. He be doing too much. Okay? That wick is getting shorter and shorter. I feel like we're going to see him completely, like, spaz out. I feel like it. But we'll see. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think about that. And then we gonna move on to the next story. Did you guys see yesterday that one of the men that was excused, that was pardoned in the January 6th riot, that YSAP just excused, you know, he excused all of the people that was involved in the January 6th riots. This man in particular, his name was Matthew Huddle, 42 years old. He was previously sentenced to 6 months in jail back in 2023 for the January 6th riots. This was in Jasper County, Indiana. Well, apparently he done got out and now he good. And he was driving around in Indiana somewhere, Jasper County, I'm assuming, and he was pulled over by the police. He had a concealed weapon. I don't know if you can or can't carry out there, but maybe you can. But apparently he got into like a confrontation with the sheriff. You know, they had a little back and forth. He started to resist arrest when the sheriff decided that he was going to arrest him, because he had a little bit too much, you know, too much motion, too much mouth. And then it looked like he was trying to get the gun from him. He could not get the gun, so he ended up shooting and killing the man. Okay. Now, again, I just told you guys that I'm human. I am human. So, of course, I don't like to hear stories about people getting killed and shot by the police and everything. But this is one that I'm gonna have to say I can't worry about it. I done gave y'all the story. I'm sorry to his family, you know, but that's it on that. That's it on that. That's it on that. Okay. When the police tell you give them the damn gun, give them the damn gun. All right. That's all I got on it, y'all. That feels terrible to be that way, y'all. It's just terrible what the world has turned me into. Y'all, it's terrible. It's terrible, but oh well. Next story. All right, you guys. So next story. The Royce interview with Cam Newton. So I've been trying to have like a lot more patience and understanding for Royce, because it's very clear that Dwight Howard put Royce through the ringer. Okay. And I will always say that I don't believe that this girl is lying, because, you know, she's always had the same story. And we've heard things about Dwight Howard outside of Royce Reed that, you know, he does have his ways, and he be out there and he be doing crazy shit, you know. So the things that she's saying, it don't feel all that far-fetched. So when she decides to tell her stories and everything, I feel like two ways about it. One part of me is like, girl, go on and tell your story. It's your story. It happened to you. Okay, this man has shut you down for 18 fucking years. You ain't been able to say nothing. It's been a gag order. He done brought case after case after case. He done bogged you down in the courts so that you didn't have any money, and you didn't really even have no time, because the whole time you was up here fighting, you know, cases left and right. All right. He put you through it. He put your son through it. Like, girl, go on and tell your story. Like, part of me is glad that she's finally able to speak out and let everybody know what was going on. The other part of me, though, is just sort of like, Royce, like, how long are you going to do this, girl? I mean, I guess as long as she feels she need to, as long as them checks is coming in, because she's going to need the money. Because my thing is, Dwight, you keep talking about this man. He's still rich and you still not. Okay, I mean, that's fucked up to say, but it is what it is. You know, you don't really have this money, so you still speaking out that it's just going to bring new lawsuits, and he's still going to sue you. I kind of want to know, what is the end game in this? Are you just doing these interviews just to fuck up his life, what's going on in his life? Or are you doing it to get paid? Are you doing it for some sort of retribution? Like, what exactly is the end goal here? You know, I feel like we need to know what's going on with Royce. Like, are you working now? Like, are you coaching? Are you dance teacher? Do you have a school? Are you choreographer? Like, what's going on in your life that has changed so that it doesn't just seem like a smear campaign to just talk about Dwight, even though that's what it is. But I feel like people are not as open to fully receiving her, because it's all just about what Dwight did, when we cannot ignore the fact that she was going back and forth with Dwight a lot. That whole thing with the pandemic, I done told y'all that move right there never made sense to me. Never. Okay. And there's been other things that she did that didn't make sense to me. So it just like makes me just be like, Royce, are you, girl, I mean, go and do your interviews and make your money and everything, but I sure really hope that there is a plan for all of this, because I just kind of feel like he's still going to come after her. And it's just going to be a cycle of her always saying what Dwight did to her, and him always suing her, and nobody moving forward on anything. So I just want to know what else is Royce talking about. So there's that on that. Y'all let me know what you think about that, though. Okay, do you want Royce to just continue on? Or are you waiting for the next thing? Like, what's next, Royce? Because that's what needs to happen. What's next? All right, next story. And then lastly, in quickies, you guys, the Oscar noms. I didn't even do much about the Oscar noms because I was just concerned about the black people. You know, we root for everybody black. Shout out to Issa Rae. So, the big ones, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, lead actress. Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, okay, for supporting actress, and Coleman Domingo, lead actor for Sing Sing. Those are the main black folks that have been nominated. There may be some other ones, but those are the three that we all will have our eye on. Okay. So good luck to them. Oscars is coming. I think they delayed it because of the fires. So I don't really know exactly when the Oscars are coming, but when they get here, them the ones that's nominated. Will you be watching? Congratulations are in order to Sky Jackson. It seems that she has given birth to her bouncing baby. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. All we know is the baby's name is Kasai. Kasai. So I'm assuming that's Kasai. The baby daddy's name is Yerky. That's his name, his social media name anyway. Mama named him DeAndre Bergen. And we don't see him in the pictures with Sky, not because they aren't together, but because he is in jail. So I guess they aren't together. They may be together in one way, but physically are not together. But they got together to get that baby together, didn't they? So, yeah, I don't know if the two is still, I don't know if they a couple still or whatever. But congratulations on the bouncing baby, Kasai. Also, congratulations are in order to the NFC champions, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles beat the Commanders this past weekend. So they'll be going to the Super Bowl. That's going to take place on February 9th in New Orleans, Louisiana at the Caesars Superdome. You guys know K-Dot is going to be performing halftime. He announced that Sis is going to be his halftime person. And, yeah, they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And I was like, Kansas City Chiefs? Now, y'all know I don't know shit about football, but damn, isn't this like their third or fourth Super Bowl in a row that they've been there? I know they've been there the last two. I know it's been the last two. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, though. But yeah, so congratulations to them, honey. Philadelphia, honey, they was so fucking happy for their team. So fucking happy for their team, y'all. So I love to see the old city spirit. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Who y'all think gonna win? Who's favored to win? I mean, Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, damn, every fucking Super Bowl for the last few years. So, but the Philadelphia Eagles, that's the team that got that real fine one, right? With the big diamonds. Pretty black girlfriend. Yeah, he is fine, y'all. Lord, I want him to win just because of that. And lastly, y'all heard that song by Bruno Mars and Sexy Red? Soft, juicy, and wet. Child, that song be jamming. Soft, juicy, and wet. Hey, that song is the jam. That song is the jam. Nasty, quite nasty. I just wish we could just maybe just not be so nasty. But I mean, there is a time and a place and all, But yeah, that song is good. Well produced. That song might do for Sexy Red what Wet Ass Pussy. Is it wet? Not Wet Ass Pussy. What was the song that it wasn't nasty, but the song that Cardi B did with Bruno Mars. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, that's not, okay. Tricking on finesse. You don't make much sense. You got me tricking on finesse. You know it, you know it. Finesse. Okay. So anyway, so that song, this song, if it picks up well, will do for Sexy Red, kind of like bring her over to even a different group of people, okay? And even Wet Ass Pussy, like I feel like Wet Ass Pussy and Finesse were like some staple songs for Cardi B that just like really blew it up. So maybe the fact that Sexy Red and Bruno Mars are together, yeah. People are like, oh, he's so, like, what made him do that? And I was just like, y'all don't listen to Bruno Mars because his albums, they be pretty nasty. They be plenty nasty, actually. So it's not too far off. I mean, he don't just be flat out saying pussy and all of the shit that, these girls be saying and everything. But yeah, he can pretty much say some nasty things too. So, it's not a song you're going to play with your mama in the car, but it's a song that you're going to play when you and your girls is out dancing, okay? Y'all pre-gaming, about to go somewhere. But yeah, that shit is good. Have you heard it, though? Did you guys notice when you listen to the song that her flow sounds different than she normally does? It's not that same remedial-like flow that she does, Not trying to be shady. I just feel like Sexy Red's flow is like, no, but in this song, her flow is different. If you listen closely, she actually sounds like Yo-Yo. You can't fuck with my Yo-Yo. Hey, don't try to play me out. Don't try to play me out. Always got to give you a little Yo-Yo. But she sounds like Yo-Yo. Go listen to the song. There's parts when she actually sounds just like Yo-Yo, but that's neither here nor there, you guys. Y'all like that song? Y'all go listen to it. And I'm going to get on off of here. All right, y'all, that is it. Fixing to go in here and order me some Panda Express. And then I'm going to take it on back to work. Get this edited. Well, y'all won't get this probably until tomorrow. All right, we'll see. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Till next time, Roxstars.